Have you ever wanted to learn some ways to be more efficient? Hey, and ways to be more peaceful? Instead of just thinking about doing things, how about some ways to actually get it done? Well, if you are one of those people, then you're not going to want to miss today's episode of Body Bangin'.
Welcome to Body Bangin', your podcast for all things body. Auto body, that is. And now, introducing Body Bangin's host, Mickey Woods of Mickey Woods Marketing. Mickey is a former auto collision center owner and is now a marketing and business development expert to shops across the globe.
Hey, everybody. We are here today with Rick Selover, and he is, hi, he's waving.
Hi.
He's from the Mind Wrench podcast, a fellow podcaster in the auto collision industry. Yay, Rick.
Yay.
So exciting. So he's been in the automotive industry for a very long time and then decided to start his own podcast. And Rick, I'll let you tell the listeners what exactly you're doing and talking about on your podcast.
All right. Well, thanks, Mickey. Appreciate being on the show. Thanks for inviting me. Greetings from the Motor City. So I am here in Detroit, heart of the big three. Actually, it's two and something else. I don't even know what it's called anymore. But yeah, Motor City. Been here my whole life. Love it. There's a lot of shops, a lot of great people in this industry. And so I've been, quick story on me. So I've been in the automotive industry, collision end of it for over 40 years. I started, wow. I mean, I know I don't look that old, but when I started as a porter in a shop, probably 15 years old, I just took to it, got into painting, helping, or being a painter's helper, and went through the chain, did, all kinds of work in a body shop, helped out body men, became a painter. Worked in that for about 15, 16 years. And I got to that point where I was concerned about my health, just being around those kind of materials for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And I was getting ready to get married and wanted to start having kids. And I thought, you know what? I think I want to get out of this now before I'm 55 and 60 going, God, I'm stuck in this and I don't have another path. Right. So I had an opening working for a distributor. Good friend of mine was moving to a paint manufacturer's position and said, hey, you should apply for this. I did. Took a chance. It was totally new for me, but I really liked it. Did well with it. And I've been in the sales end of it and sales management for, almost 30 years.
Wow.
So yeah, I've been in this a long time.
So wait, you went from being an actual painter, painting vehicles, to then selling. That is a huge change of careers.
It was a big jump. There's a lot of painters that will go to being a tech rep, but they usually don't make the jump to sales guy.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, when I look back at my life, I've always kind of been a sales guy. I mean, I go all the way back to being 8, 10 years old. I was selling seeds. I did, one of those scamway, multi-level marketing things when I was young. I sold a lot of different things through my life, and I've always liked sales, and I like people, and I like, taking care of people, and I like the service end of it. So
yes,
it was kind of a natural fit.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed it. Made a lot of great friends, great connections. And I've really enjoyed this industry. So fast forward, 40 years, I wanted to do something. I'm at that point in my life where I want to do something that gives back. Okay. I've got a lot of knowledge. I got a lot of experience. I've seen and helped a lot of people in the collision shops, and I know how much they struggle, and I know how difficult this business has become.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do something where I'm giving back. I'm helping. I'm using some of the knowledge I've gained over these 40 years. And hopefully make it a little bit easier for somebody, maybe get them a step ahead of the guy down the street, give them some tips, some tools, some tactics to running a better shop. And I've also designed this to not only help shop owners. So the things I talk about and the lessons I have, they're more on the mindset and the self-development and self-improvement realm.
Yes.
Where people can take these lessons and these things I talk about, they can use them in their shop, but they can also go home and use them at home and better their lives. And maybe adapt and change and handle some of the things in life a little bit better. So that's
Totally.
kind of the goal. Yeah, it's
Totally.
kind of the goal. So
Yeah, I've been listening once I found out that you had a podcast. I've been listening to your podcasts and been enjoying them myself and thought the exact same thing. You've done several. How many are you at? 26, 27?
So I just released my 27th today.
Very
So
cool.
I've been doing one a week, and quite honestly, I started this in early September,
Okay.
and I think I've only missed 1 week.
Wow.
And I had one of my relatives, one of my sisters passed away, and I took a week off.
Oh.
Uh, but I also used that lesson and it did a an episode on resiliency that was
Hmm.
based around what one of my sisters had gone through. So
Yeah, that's
um,
cool.
yeah, I use my life lessons and try to mold them into something that's useful for somebody else, right?
Yes. Well, and it's
So
neat because when you listen to the podcast and the concepts that you're discussing, like you said, they're not just for the automotive industry. I mean, really anybody could listen for the most part and take something away from it because it's just value, it's core principles. And I really, really enjoyed listening to them. And it was funny, I was listening to one that you had posted, and it was specifically, for body shops. But then I ended up talking to my family about it and telling them about it because not only does it apply for the mindset of being a courageous business owner and whatnot, but it also applies to some things that my children are going through, that my husband's going through at work. And so we actually ended up having a conversation about a topic that you had on your podcast. So I
oh, that's
love the
awesome.
concept of what you're doing. But like you said, and the reason why I created my podcast and why when you and I spoke, we totally clicked because we both feel for the industry and we really have a heart to help these owners and managers, just the whole staff, really, in an industry that's really up against it. And I love the fact that you're taking the mindset component because if your mind's not right, nothing else will fall into place, really.
Absolutely. If listen, the biggest changes you can make in your life, and for some reason, the collision business, I've seen more people on the downside of life, going
Mm,
through this in 40 years. And it's not a knock on the collision world, but it's some of the people that it's attracted back, 20, 30 years ago, and it still attracts today is the guys that, maybe didn't go to college, maybe they didn't finish high school, but they're good with their hands, right?
mhm.
And some of them, they'll struggle with things. They struggle with the things in life that knocks them down, that sets them back. And some of those guys turn into collision owners. They haven't changed their mindset. Now they have a business. Now they have a shop. They have people that work for them, but they really don't know how to effectively, treat them correctly, incentivize them,
Mm,
have a team concept, get good production out of them, create a great front office atmosphere for the customers. Some of that stuff is just, nobody's teaching that. You
yeah.
can't go to take a class on it. You can't go to a school for it. And when I started thinking about this, that's when I came up with this concept for this mind wrench, right?
Love the title.
Listen, I spent, an hour thinking about the name, and that was it. As soon as I thought of mind wrench, that's it. I'm going to stick
That's
with
it.
that because
Yeah.
that's really what I'm doing is doing little tweaks to your mindset. And that's all it takes sometimes. And it can
Mm,
get somebody from just barely getting by or just barely making it to changing themselves with insight. And all of a sudden now they're skyrocketing. They're going to the next level. They're doing things they never dreamed of doing.
yeah.
Because I've seen a lot of people do that. And I'm a true believer in that. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and you're a believer in neuroplasticity, which is the
yes.
ever-changing mind. And
Yep.
we used to think that the mind was just what it was, and that's what you had where you were at. That was it. And now science has shown us that we can constantly evolve our minds and we are constantly changing them. And they are just because we may be stuck in a rut in our mind where the program just plays over and over, we can adjust that program with work, but we can do it. And how powerful
Absolutely.
is that?
Actually, the episode I just released today is on a fixed mindset, negative mindset, or growth mindset, and what the difference
Mm,
is and how to get from
mhm.
one to the other. Because so many people in this industry and in other service industries are kind of stuck in that fixed or negative mindset. and
Yes.
they'll never do any better. They'll never get to the next level. They will never,
Mhm.
be more successful than they are now until they change that. So it is much easier than people will think. Much easier.
Yes.
So
Well, and you give very good practical tips on. So it's not just a concept. Oftentimes you listen to things and it's like, "Oh, that concept sounds so nice." And then you finish listening and you're like, what do I do with that? I
right.
don't know. Where I appreciate your podcast because there are actual ways to work on these things, and it takes work. You figure if you have ingrained these habits and these ways of thinking for so long, you're going to have to work to change it. But part of changing it is being aware that it exists.
Yes,
So,
exactly. And listen, this is not something I just learned 15 minutes before I talked about it. This is, this is, I was never a book reader. Okay. When I graduated high school, the last book I had to read was the last book I had to read. You know what I mean?
right.
So somewhere in my 40s, I picked up a book and I still remember Mind of a Millionaire was the
Mm,
first book I read. And it was the first time I ever dove into self-development or even thinking about something other than what am I going to do for dinner and where am I going tomorrow,
yes.
and that just started my path of reading and gaining knowledge and starting to understand things about how to make better decisions. And I read, Wayne Dyer and Brian Tracy, and started reading more and more of those kind of books. Started learning a lot and started applying some of that over the years, and noticed, these people aren't nuts. They made a, they made a lifetime living out of educating people, and most of us going through life not taking advantage of any opportunities to educate ourselves. So
Mm,
I've done that for the past probably 12 years or maybe 15 years. I've been reading books, listening to podcasts, tapes, CDs, Tony Robbins stuff. And
mm.
all of it has the same common theme. And it's about, you can do the work on the inside of yourself and control how the rest of your life's going to go. Or you can just be, this is all I can do. This is me. I'm just going to
Right.
take what life gives me, and that's going to be good
Right.
enough. And you know what? If you're okay with that, then you're okay with it. But
Mhm.
I think most people want a little bit more out of their lives.
Yeah, I
Um,
was actually just discussing this today with somebody, how we put self-limiting beliefs on ourselves,
yes.
where oftentimes we can look at somebody, even so as owners and managers, we'll look at an employee and we're like, we know you can do better. We know you can be better. And
Right.
they aren't better and they don't do better, not because they can't, because they think that they can't, because they have these self-limiting beliefs. They don't think they're
Right.
smart enough or they're good enough. And it's really interesting how much the mind really controls our output. It controls the status of our level of happiness. I mean, it's really
Absolutely.
just it's wild. And when you first start hearing about this stuff, you're like, what's this new age woo woo? Come on.
Right.
But then you really get into it and you're like, holy smokes, this is real. This is good stuff. I had one of the things I was listening to, and I've just like you, I've done a ton of reading and gone to seminars and all that kind of stuff. And there's one thing, and they said, okay, if you don't trust the power of the mind and you think it's all a bunch of crap, think about this. Imagine yourself holding a lemon. You've probably done this or heard it before. Imagine yourself holding a lemon and you squeeze it and you could feel the juice inside. Now imagine biting into that lemon and you feel the
Hmm.
juice in your mouth and trickling down your cheeks. And what happens to you? What happens to your body? I telling the story, I'm salivating.
Right.
So
Right.
your body is reacting to something that's not even happening because your mind doesn't know the difference between
Correct.
something in your mind or something real that's transpiring. That
Correct.
is the power of the mind. So if we can train our minds, our bodies will follow. It's just really incredible. So I'm so grateful that somebody in our industry has stepped up to talk about these things because, man, imagine where these owners and where these managers can take their shops if they start changing their mindset a little bit
Oh
more.
God. Listen, there are so many talented guys out there that, I've worked with or I've dealt with, I've sold to, I've visited that are phenomenal, brilliant technicians. They built beautiful shops. And they're faced with negativity every day. They're faced with battles every day. And most of them don't have any tools to help them deal with that.
Mm.
And if I can help one shop get past that and makes it better for them, then I'm doing the right thing. Right.
Yeah.
Since I've been doing this, I've had a lot of shops, ones that I know, ones that I don't know, contact me and say, "Hey, man, I really love your messages. That's helped a lot. I've done this, and it's made a difference." And quite honestly, that's going to drive me to keep doing this and go as
Mm.
far as I can.
Yeah.
Is it will help. And like I said, this industry, I just saw it as there is nothing available
Yeah.
for guys. You can get all the iCar training you want. You can get all kind of technical training.
Yeah.
You can go to manufacturers, get paint training and all that stuff, but they don't touch on that much of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured, you know what, I'll at least do what I can do. Maybe some other people will follow suit, and maybe this will build to be a little bit more of a culture change. I don't know, but I'll keep doing what I can do to help. Because I've dealt with enough of these shops and I live through this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if it makes a difference for me, listen, I'm not the smartest guy in any room. I'm not. I graduated high school. It's as far as my education went. I worked in body shops. I didn't wear masks for a period of time. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of brain damage just from the stuff I was around, right? Not to mention the things I did to myself, in my 20s. But regardless,
we don't talk about those years.
No, we don't talk about those things because that doesn't happen.
Right.
But you have that ability to do the repairs yourself on your own head and make your life better and make better choices. And like I said, your kids, these are lessons you can teach your kids and maybe prevent them from making some bad choices or making them feel like they have the ability to design their life and how they want it to go. So
totally. Now, one thing that I was listening to the other day was your podcast on reciprocity. And I love the concept because I work with shops all across the country, and we oftentimes get so stuck in doing what we're doing. We are robotic like because we have to process. It becomes a process. Let's just process this car. We got to get the car in. We got to get it through, we got to get it through body. We got to get it through prep and through paint because cycle time and keys to keys. And we've got all these terminologies and all these factors, and we're putting numbers on everything. And, but we forget to stop and remember that this person here really just went through something probably pretty traumatic. And
right.
I think we forget that our job is not just processing a vehicle and trying to get it back to them as quickly as humanly possible. We're forgetting a whole lot of steps that should be going on inside of there. And when I heard your reciprocity podcast, it really hit me because we need to be reminded. We need to be reminded about these things.
Right. So the whole concept of that really is reciprocity is just doing things for others, and not expecting anything from it. So just like, I'll give you an example. When we first talked, you said you were going to start a podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you were asking me a couple questions. Did I give you just a little bit of advice, or did I pour out, a couple gallons worth of advice for you?
And I've got pages of notes, Rick.
Okay.
Yeah.
So listen, I don't expect anything out of that. I don't expect you to make $1 million and start cutting me. It's just something I do. Because that's always how I've been. I come from a service industry. I'm used to doing things for people, just because that was my job, and I enjoy doing that. I enjoy helping other people. But what I've found along the way, Mickey, is that when you do those things for other people, you give a little bit more. You help people in advance, and don't expect anything out of it. That comes back around. It may not be from that person, but maybe somebody else does the same thing for you, or takes care of you, or all of a sudden you're standing out there in a deserted road and your battery's dead, and someone comes and stops instead of just whizzing by at 40 miles an hour. They stop and they go, I don't know why I stopped, but I just thought I'd stop because it looked like you need some help, right? And they help you out. Those things happen every day in people's lives, but it doesn't always happen to people that are self-centered and they think about themselves and they don't look to help other people out. So it does come around. The more you put out there, the more that comes around.
Yeah.
When it comes to collision shops, What I talked about with the reciprocity is do things in advance for your customer, offer things to your community, do things that they don't expect, and then
Mm-hmm.
go beyond that. So I got a great shop, and I can't tell you the guy's name and the name of the shop. I don't want to give away his secrets, but he's got a process that he does. It's an after the sale thing that he does for all of his customers. He brings them back for something after the fact, and they just love it. It bonds the customers to him. They tell all their friends and their neighbors about what a great guy this guy is, and what a great shop he is, and the service and the job they did. He goes over every single shop or every single job himself with a
Mm-hmm.
really finely tuned detail, checklist for
Mm-hmm.
checkout. And it's just those kinds of things that keeps the door flowing with new jobs, right? Keeps them
Yes.
busy when everybody else is slow.
Right.
And it's just that mindset that he's got that I'm going to do more, I'm going to do extra, I'm going to do things in advance, and it'll come back to me. I know it will, and it has.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I
um,
love that. One of the biggest complaints that I hear from my shops is the Yelp and Google, how they're getting bad Yelp reviews or getting bad Google reviews, and they don't feel that they're justified. And then, so we're going to go above and beyond because we're so concerned about the review we're going to get online.
okay,
And again, I feel like we're losing sight. We're losing sight of doing the right thing and going above and beyond because you care, not
right,
because you're trying to achieve something
right,
or get something. You didn't, like you said, you gave me all that information on podcasting, not so you could get a kickback later down the road.
right,
It's to be helpful and kind. Same kind of thing with shops. And I tell my shops, take your focus off of Yelp and Google. Stop looking at it. If you're obsessing about it that much, don't look at it anymore and have your people just care about the customers, care about the guests that are coming in
right,
and go above and beyond rather than just what they're expecting. Go above and beyond because you actually care for that person. Remember that person's been in something traumatic. They've been inconvenienced. Do you want to leave? I have a shop that leaves a shaker, like, those shaker cups you use for the gym. They have
yeah,
shakers made. Another one has a cool sippy cup. Another one, because I do promotional products too. So I'm always like, hey, do you guys want to get one of these? These would be so cool to give to your customers. So hand sanitizers now, shops are loving those with
right,
their logo on them. It's just a little something to show that you care, that's above and beyond. And it's
right,
not in order to get the Yelp review back or in order to get something. It's just because we care, because we know you've been inconvenienced, we're going above and beyond. And when the shops are able to shift that perspective, I have one shop specifically, and I can't tell you his name,
hmm,
but he was able to shift the perspective of his shop. And instead of obsessing so much about the reviews, they just all decided collectively as a group is we're going to now turn this around, and rather than almost processing people, that we are here to serve them. We are here to
yes,
serve you. When you come in, can I get you a drink of water, a bottle of water, a cup of coffee? What do you need? I mean, above and beyond, when the customer leaves, they go over the whole car with them. They had a little goodie thing that they gave them on their way out. And guess what happened? Their Yelp reviews and Google reviews went through the roof, but they stopped thinking about the damn reviews.
yeah.
So isn't
Well,
that funny?
and I will tell you, part of that is so if someone leaves a bad Yelp review or Google review, most people don't have the time to leave a review to begin with.
Mm,
So they're not just going to inadvertently leave a shitty review because, well, I want to screw with this shop, right? Just for fun.
yeah.
No, it's because they missed something. There was a missed opportunity. There was a communication that didn't happen. That customer felt somewhere along the line that he was wronged or it
Mm,
wasn't taken care of, or maybe his needs wasn't addressed, or maybe it was simply a lady that came in that was ignored for 15 minutes while they were busy doing stuff and they shuffled her through the process.
mhm,
And even though they did a great job fixing her car and they put some mints in there when they're done, they
mhm,
pissed her off right at the beginning by disrespecting her or
mhm,
ignoring her, right?
mhm,
And in a busy shop, I see it happen. I go in shops all the time. I'll stand there, I'll wait to talk to the owner or the manager. And sometimes I'll see the interactions between a customer standing there and whoever's behind the counter. It's not always pretty. It's not
yeah.
always good. And I think to myself, that's probably a bad review. When it's all said and done, if they do the job, that's going to be a bad review.
Yeah.
So it's an opportunity when people start thinking about it that way. Listen, they are here for us to serve them. Okay. They don't have to come here. They don't have to come to my shop. They can go anywhere. They can go to where their insurance company tells them, or they can go to their own, shop of their choosing.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're coming to my shop, I better make them feel welcome. I better make them feel at ease, comfortable, appreciated. And there's a lot of those soft skills and that mental stuff you got to do before you even touch a paper with a pen or an estimate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You need to make that person feel safe, comfortable, appreciated. Once you get past that stuff, shops would be they'd be so surprised how easy it is to keep a customer and make them really happy and get great reviews out of them.
Yeah.
But it's all that first 10, I did one on first impressions. And it's that first couple minutes, how you handle that person walking in the door makes all the difference.
Yeah. Well, I have one shop. I utilize something called a review driver with my shops, and it helps to build the positive reviews. Meanwhile, I'm telling you not to think about reviews, but hey, you need them.
Yes.
But it's funny because the shop pushes out an email after the customer has left for some internal feedback initially, and that's what they get. And then if somebody's happy, then it pushes out an invitation if you'd like to go review on Yelp or Google. So this helps them manage some internal issues. Well, recently they had a staff shift and brought one of the estimators to one of their other facilities. And he's more now he has a higher presence. He's dealing with more customers as they're coming to the door. Well, all of a sudden, Logan's name is all over everything because when customers are coming in, Logan's greeting them, calling them by name. If he can do something without them having to leave the car, he'll take the car in the back, buff a little scratch out. It was nothing. There you go. You're on your way. And they're like, are you kidding me? I don't have to stop. You leave this car and I don't have to pay for anything. He's like, no, you're good.
Right.
So Logan is going above and beyond. And I can't tell you, just in that last couple weeks that he's been shifted to that position, all of a sudden, Logan himself has so many reviews and everybody's so happy because Logan's actually taking the time to care and going above and beyond versus just processing. So Logan's not concerned about the Yelp reviews. In his mind, he's just doing his job. But look what's happened. So now all of a sudden it's this flurry of Yelp reviews because people appreciate it. So many people, so many places you go, you just get the basic service. You're lucky if your checker at the grocery store says hi with a smile. Well, you can't even see him smile now, but you're like,
I know.
Hello, am I intrude? Am I bothering you that I'm here to get some groceries? I mean, seriously. Right. So when you've got somebody like a Logan who steps up and goes above and beyond to just care and take care of that person and to really truly do it because they're wanting to help. Wow. How beautiful is that? How special did that make that person feel? Again, the reciprocity. And I'm sure Logan probably, if he was stranded at the side of the road, he'd probably have a line of cars there to help him out because he's that kind of guy.
Yep.
So one other thing that I was hoping you could touch on is a podcast that really hit me between the eyes. And that was tell me the title of it. I forget. I think it was like, are you busy or are you productive?
That was the one I did last week. It says the 7 key tips to maximize your productivity and minimize your busy work.
Ah, okay. So I think you ask within the podcast, are you just busy or are you being productive? And I was like, oh boy, do I want to know the answer.
Most people are just busy. Busy.
Yes. So if you're listening to this right now, I'm going to make a note in the show notes down below in the description to a link to this one. And you guys need to go and listen to it. And you should probably have a PDF, Rick, of this thing, because I even commented on your LinkedIn post, like, I need to print this up and put this right in front of me on the wall to remind myself of the 7 tips. And you don't have to go through all 7 because they can go listen to it.
Right.
But if you can give us a couple. Sure.
And I think I might have posted this on my Facebook because I have a blog on my Facebook. And quite honestly, because I work full time, I'm not always on top of it. But I know I just posted one last week, and I actually took my script, I think, from from that one and posted that.
Oh, okay.
I'm almost positive that is on Facebook if you go to the blog. So just go to rickselover.com and go to the blog page and it should be there.
Okay.
But and I'm going to start doing that just so people can reference this stuff. Because I don't upload that to, to the podcast host.
Right.
So what I talked about in a nutshell was, we do a lot of things every day. It just seems like we're doing more and more, but we need to really focus on where we're spending our time and our energy and what we're going to accomplish. We always have goals and things we'd like to get done, and we have big, busy task lists. I mean, listen, I've been a task list guy for probably 30 years. I mean, I learned from one of my mentors a long time ago. I always saw him with a yellow pad writing stuff down every single day. He had like 40 things on there and he'd cross stuff off, and the next day he'd add more. And I always asked, his name was Tom Sundberg, and he was a body shop owner. He's one of my first mentors. It's a guy who means the world to me. I said, Tom, what are you doing? So, man, I got to, keep track of all the things I want to get done. This helps me get a lot done. And it just struck me as, wow, that's awesome. I'm going to do that. So I've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of times those tasks are not big things you're doing. They're just, got to do this, got to pick this up. They're tasks. That's what they are. So there's three categories. One is needle movers, and those are the needle movers are the things that make a difference in your life. Those are the things that are going to get you to your big goals, your next levels, the major things in your life that you want to do, right? Mm-hmm. And those ones that bring you the most money, the most impact. If you're trying to lose weight, it's those things that you're going to do that really take the pounds off. Maybe it's the exercise routine. Maybe it's the special diet, whatever it is. But it's those things that actually move that needle. Then there's a boatload of, have-tos. You got to go to the doctor's office. You got to go get gas. You got to pick things up. You got to do certain things. That's just part of life. You can't avoid those things. But then there's a whole boatload of these little teeny tasks that we find ourselves busy with. And we'll take most of our day to do tasks because they're easy to cross off the list.
Oh, and it's so gratifying.
Oh, yes. Hey, dude, nothing feels as good as crossing something off a list. I don't know what it is, but you get this little dopamine hit like, yes, I got another thing done. Yeah. I got 40 things done today. Well, they all didn't add up to shit because it was pick up, groceries, mow the lawn, mail the letter, whatever it is. It's small stuff and it doesn't move the needle in your life.
Yes.
So you got to focus on the bigger stuff. So I had a few tips on there. And I'll just give you a couple of them. First couple of them was, number one, fully commit to the change. Most people go, I want to do this. And I really want to work on this goal. And I want to lose 20 pounds or I want to improve my relationship or I want to get that, that addition built on my shop. But they don't fully commit to it. They talk about it. They think about doing it. They write a couple things down. But they don't really commit to this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make this happen, right? It takes that commitment before anything will change.
Yeah.
So once you do that, then you figure out, okay, what do I got to do? How much time am I going to spend on this specific thing to get that change to happen? What do I have to do? Structure it, build a schedule out, build a goal plan out, whatever you got to do, but schedule it, plan on it, decide on it, schedule it, right?
Yeah.
And then you got to take action. Nothing happens in life without taking action. Right. You can have the greatest ideas in the world. You can have the greatest goals and have everything on paper go, yes, this is going to work. Next year, I'm going to have an extra $2 million in my bank account. All I got to do is this, and this. Well, if you don't do the first thing, a year from now, you won't have $2 million extra in your account. You're not going to have nothing, right?
Yeah.
So you got to take action. You got to move.
And you said something to me that I loved when we first started. We were talking the other day about podcasting, and I said, "Look, Rick, I don't know exactly what I'm doing here, but I'm doing it." And you laughed and you said, "That's great, imperfect action."
Yes, taking perfect action.
Yeah, and I was like, "Yes, I love that imperfect action. I know it's not perfect, but that's okay."
We're all going to screw. You're going to screw up. You're going to make mistakes. You may have to start over 5 times. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But at least you're learning along the way. You're getting the mistakes out of the way. You're finding the path to wherever you want to go. If you never take the action, none of that happens.
Yeah.
You'll sit there 10 years from now going, God, I wish I should have, I could have, I didn't, but you'll should have yourself to death. Okay. Which is not a good idea.
Yeah.
There's a thing called the Pomodoro Technique. I don't know if you've ever heard of that or not. You can Google it and it explains exactly what it is. But in a nutshell, and I found this really works. It's hard to stick to it, but if you can get more accomplished than you could imagine. Pomodoro Technique is 25 minutes focused on a task. Forget all the little tasks. Find your biggest goal that you need to work on. So let's just say that you had a big project you had to complete. You're going to restructure your marketing for your shop. Okay. You have a marketing plan. You're going to do some major marketing.
Mm-hmm.
You got to dial into what you really want to do, but you got to figure out some particulars on that, or, take 25 minutes, focus on nothing but that. 5 minutes off. And in that 5-minute break, you set alarm or set something on your phone, 25 minutes, stop, get up, 5 minutes of exercise, walk around, do some, sit-ups, do some push-ups, do some jumping jacks, go for a walk, do something that gets your heart going, gets your body moving, then right back at it for another 25 minutes and keep repeating that cycle. And you'll be amazed how much stuff you get done. So, and here's a little hack that I learned from someone else I listened to. So during that 25 minutes, put headphones on or earbuds or whatever, but tune out everything else. And you can either tune into some music that you like to listen to or something that motivates you. Or the best thing is there's a playlist called binaural beats. And if you go to Google and type in binaural beats, it's like a brainwave music. And what it does is it's just sounds and music and stuff, but something in it just tunes your brain into focusing, and it just eliminates distractions. And you can get so much done that way. It's incredible.
I've heard about binaural beats, however you pronounce it. And I've listened to them before doing meditation and whatnot. And they do sound weird. I'll tell you. The first time
it takes a little getting used to. I will tell you that.
I'm just going to warn everybody. You're going to put it on and be like, what the hell was he talking about? What is this?
Are they rewiring my brain? What happened here? Listen, some scientists put this together and it does work. It allows you intense focus. For some reason, it just works. And there's there's probably 20 or 30 different versions of it, or, different sounds. Some have more music and some are just for relaxing. Some are for studying, so there's a few of them in there to play around with. So,
yeah. Well, and isn't it, I don't know if that's part of, I forget the name of what it's called that you called it, some big fancy name, but for the 25 minutes, isn't it that you focus on just one task? Is that the same? Yes. Okay.
Yeah. You're focusing on one task. You're trying to get, it could be a big project, or it could be, I've got to write a 1-page summary for something. Okay. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just focus on that. Forget, I got to check my email. No. Oh, someone texted me. No, don't touch none of that stuff. Put your phone somewhere else. Close your door if you're in your office. Put a new do not disturb sign, whatever. But focus completely for 25 minutes, because you can spend hours. If you get distracted off something, even for a minute, someone calls, you answer a phone, you hang up, you look at your text, it throws your brain off track, and it takes about another 15 minutes to really get back to that same level of concentration you were at. So you'll waste hours during the day, dinking around from, I got to check my email. I got to go grab that. You get yanked in 40 different directions. And in the position I am, that happens all day long, every day. So it really does help. It's hard to do, Mick. I'll be honest. It's hard to get yourself in that spot, but if you can, you'll get great results out of it. So
I can testify to that because, I know that using our cell phones and being on electronics, it's basically they've trained our brains, from everything that I've understood, because of the constant dopamine hits that we get, the feel good chemical, that every time it dings or buzzes, we're like, ooh, what's this? Huh, what's that? Huh, yep. And we've actually been trained to have that be the normal. So then once we start to calm down, we're waiting for that dopamine hit. Like, wait a minute, shouldn't I be doing something? So we almost have to retrain ourselves almost like little children. If you have little kids, if you sit and entertain them constantly, they want to be entertained constantly. You have to let them just have quiet time for
Yes.
10, 15, 20 minutes. They need to learn to self-entertain, basically. And it's a learned behavior. And just like with the phones now, it's actually created this whole stimulus that we think that we need. We are addicted like a drug to this constant stimulation. Yeah.
It's worse than a drug. Yeah.
So I get what
Hang
you're
on,
saying.
I gotta check my phone.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right.
Nothing.
Damn
it.
How disappointing. But when I have tried this, what you're talking about, and I haven't done the 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off, so I'm going to have to try it. But I will tell you, if I number like my tasks out the beginning of the day and I say, I am not doing another thing until I accomplish this specific task. And I do it that way. And I try to take some breaks throughout the day, but it's not timed. I love the time thing. I'm going to try that. By the end of the day, I'm done earlier because I'll stay up till 8. I mean, if you're a client of mine, you're getting emails from me 8:30, 9:30 at night, and I'm starting first thing in the morning. I'm done at like 5, like a normal person, 5:30. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And I feel like I got so much done. And I really did get so much done. So what you're saying, I can testify to 100%. It's tough. It is tough to do it because your mind, every ounce of your being is like, check your emails, check your emails, check your emails.
Oh, I know.
Who just texted me? Who just texted me?
We're in such a distracted world. It's just, it's horrible. And I'm just as guilty as everybody else. Listen, I grew up having no distractions like that and slow, I remember having a pager. I remember having the first bag phone, we should have stuck with bag phones because you couldn't text on a bag phone. You couldn't look at the screen and there was no screen on a bag phone. So, but through the course of evolution and technology, it's where we're at. But unfortunately, our kids, to your point, and I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but it's sad because I'll go to a restaurant with my wife and we'll see a family of 4 and everybody is looking at their phone. Even the 3-year-old's got an iPad in front of them and none of them are talking.
Yep.
They're just in their own little zones. I'm like, man, that's just not quality family time. It just isn't. So,
yeah. You know what's funny is you mentioned that and we're totally going off topic, but whatever. It's my show.
We're supposed to
I can do
about
whatever
body
I
shop
want.
stuff.
Yeah. Every once in a while on a Sunday, we'll say we're having an electronic free day at my house. So we have 4 children and it's myself and my husband. We have an electronic free day and the kids dread it, right? When we say, okay, Sunday's an electronic free day, that means no TV, no electronics. We can play some music in the background, but you can play a board game. You can read a book. You can go for a walk, whatever. Just you're not on your phones. You're not on a computer, not on the TV. And they now love it. They have, as our family together, we have the best time on those no electronic Sundays. And now they actually look forward to it. And so every once in a while, one of the kids will be like, when are we going to do another one of those Sundays again? Because once you force yourself off of it and you put it away and get rid of it, now all of a sudden you can be present. And holy Moses, you don't realize how much you need to be away from the dang thing until you force yourself to be away from it. And then the connection you make with the people around you, it's really incredible.
Yeah, we need a good blackout every once in a while, really. So, I hate to say it, but it's just the way it is. Forced blackout. Yep.
Snip it. Well, I love it, Rick. I don't want to give away all your secrets on the show today. If there's something else you want to share, though, anything else? Or are we going to leave them hanging?
Just listen for my next episode. That's all I can say. I enjoy doing this. I plan on continuing this. Obviously I'd like to grow it and expand it and do more with it than I'm doing now. But if everybody, enjoys it and appreciates it, let me know, just give me a thumbs up or something on Facebook or on Instagram. You can comment on my website. I mean, there's a lot of ways to let me know that it's helping. I've got a Facebook group called Collision Mastermind that I started probably about 6 or 8 months ago. I got a couple hundred people on there now.
Nice.
And I post stuff there every day, a couple times a day. I put positive message stuff on there, and I post a lot of articles collision articles.
Nice.
So if there's new technology that's coming out, or some new, like I posted something the other day, and some website, some great tips for website stuff. So as I find, I'm always looking through and finding good collision industry stuff, and I try to share that. I try to share and add value as much as I can wherever I go. So
that's amazing.
I enjoy doing it. So.
I'll put the link below to your Facebook group. Hopefully I can link directly to it. And, I personally love what you're doing. I love that we have people out there that are really trying to help our industry. And right now it's just the reciprocity thing for you and I too. We're putting it out there because we feel like it's the right thing. And you and I are both spending a ton of extra hours. We both work full-time jobs. We both have families, but we're doing what we're doing because we love the people in the industry. We want to do what's best for them. So kudos to you. Keep it up.
Absolutely.
Make sure you guys not just go listen to the Mind Wrench podcast, but make sure you subscribe. That way you get notified every time he launches one, which a new one comes out every Monday. And this podcast comes out every Monday. So you can have like a whole special Monday fun day of podcasts between my podcast and Rick's, and get your dose of dopamine that way.
Yeah. And you can go back and look at, you can search through, like I said, 27 episodes. You can go all the way back and listen to all of them right from the beginning if you want. Of course, the later ones are better, obviously, as I've grown through it a little bit. But even the first couple ones, I send out to some really important people in my life for their opinion, and reviews are really good from them. So if you folks listen to this and you like it, you like the show, like Mickey said, please subscribe. And then through Apple Podcasts, for some reason, Apple's the king of the podcast world. They're really the only ones where the reviews tend to matter, or they get picked up by everybody else. So if you like it, put a review on Apple Podcast. I'd appreciate it. And I'm going to keep pumping this out every week, and I'd like to do more interviews like this. I think this is great. I'm glad to see, Mickey, that you're jumping in the fray and helping out here too. This is awesome. So look forward to doing this a couple more times. So
yeah, for sure.
I got lots I can talk about. So
well, I was gonna say, you and I could probably talk for days on all of this, and it's great because it's very useful, it's edifying, it's positivity, and it's not just stuff for the shop. It's stuff you can bring home into your everyday life to just be better and happier, more balanced. I mean, don't we all need that?
Yes, we do. More now than ever. That's for sure.
That's right. Well, thanks again, Rick. Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode of Body Bangin'.
If you enjoyed today's show, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We have some incredible topics and guests coming your way you will not want to miss. If you are watching on YouTube and don't want to miss the latest and greatest, you'll want to hit the bell after subscribing, so you will get a pop-up each time a video podcast goes live. To our devoted fans, would you mind paying it forward and sharing this little gem with someone else you think may benefit from it? Much love from all of us here at Body Bangin', all things auto body.